Hey folks, so now that you have the lay of the land of our platform, how will you begin taking on tasks and working with our project success team? I first want to note that for contractors who are listed as active contractors with our team, who are actively available to SketchDeck during specific hours of the week or for a specific account and project manager, you'll be receiving tasks directly through the platform. Your project managers and DDs will assign you tasks. You'll receive notifications throughout the platform as well as via email. And your project managers and DDs will most likely be communicating with you directly via Slack. For folks who are on more of an on-call relationship or on our bench of specialists, any PM that is looking to work with you will reach out ahead of time prior to assigning you any tasks here in the platform. They'll reach out to you via email or whatever you've specified as your preferred channel of communication to confirm that you do indeed have availability and can take on the task at hand. Once they've confirmed that with you, they will go ahead and assign you the task here in the platform. So once you've received the task in the platform, you will see it here in your home screen. We can see that in my Due Today section, I have a task that is due today at 5 p.m. It's showing me what that task is, what the project is, how many hours I've been assigned to work on this task. The assigned hours are basically a ballpark idea of how long our team expects you to work on this task. If for whatever reason the time frame specified feels unreasonable, if it's too short or unreasonably long, feel free to reach out directly to your project manager and DD and communicate that to them, especially if you anticipate needing more time than what has been allotted to you. Please do communicate that with your project managers and DDs. Slack is usually the best way to do so. And we can see here that I've actually already started this task and I have it paused. And we can use this button to start work directly. We can also click here on the logo, on the project title, which will open up the project in a new tab. And then I do want to show you that here in the notification center, I've also received that notification. Had I not already opened up this tab, this would have been shown in blue as a new notification, but I'd already seen it, so it's showing as white now. This is a premium level project, so it's giving me that extra special tag here just to alert me to the fact that it is a premium project. Likewise, down here we can see a project that has an express tag. So any projects that are express or premium need just a little bit of extra attention on them, and you will see these notifications here, or these kind of pills that help those projects jump out here. So clicking on the project name, it's going to bring me to the overview page of this project. And here I can see that I have a blue taskbar across the top. Anytime that I have a task that is actively sitting with me and ready for my work, it will show up as blue. We see all of that same information here. So what the task is, the fact that I have the task paused, those 4 assigned hours, the deadline of later today. And here I can go ahead and start that timer again. I can also hit complete task, which is going to open up this side panel here. This icon in the middle here will also open up that side panel. And here in the side panel, we can see a lot of that same information. When I actually started the task, when that deadline is, the fact that it's assigned to me, those assigned hours. There is an area here for additional description. So from time to time, you may find communications listed here. It's always an important place to check. And then once I have completed the task, which I'll come back to in a moment, this is where I will clock my time. The timer here will automatically populate here into these fields. And when I have completed work, I can mark this as done, which I will not do yet. Okay, I can close out this side panel. Again, we can see this current task here, which is with me. We have all of that same information here. And in order to work on the task, I'm going to come into the brief tab of the project. This is where I'm going to be able to read through the instructions, understand the task at hand, understand the goals of the client and the project. So I come to the brief page and I review everything left here by both the client and our project team. We have a nice description, usually and hopefully explaining what it is that we are looking to achieve with the project. There may be links left here. And then we have a section for internal notes. Internal notes are where members of our team, project managers and DDs, for example, can leave directions for our creative team that the client will not be able to see. Continuing on down, we have our files. So all files provided by the client will be listed here. They may also provide links here. Looking down in the next section, we have our design template section. If this project were at the production level, we would need to make sure that we have a template that we're able to follow. I'll talk about those design levels as we get further down in this brief page, but this is the section where either a template can be selected, a previous project can be selected as a template to follow, or a brand new file can be uploaded to be used as a template. Some projects do request content development. And then here we have our project type. In this case, this project is a logo. You can see we have presentation, document, one-pager, etc., everything from branding, email, HTML, websites, etc. Coming down a bit further is our team section. As mentioned, this is a premium level project. So premium level projects are those of our highest creative level. They require concepting, strategic thinking upfront, etc. The next level down, or our most standard level, is the design level. This is the level in which we are starting with style samples. We may have a brand, and hopefully we have a brand that we are working from, but we are not working from a template. So we are starting with a round of style samples, possibly 2 rounds of style samples, where we're aligning with the client, determining the direction, the visual direction for the project before we move into the full design. And then our production level team is exactly that. It is a production project. We are following a template or a previous project, and the very first delivery is going to be the full design. We do not start with style samples. We jump right into the full design because we are following a template. Continuing down the page, we see the number of designs or graphics needed for this project. For other project types, say a presentation, we would see number of slides. For an ebook, number of pages, etc. Below that, we have some additional information items that the client or project manager can specify. And then for other project types, this area would also house that additional information, very, very important information, such as the color space, the file types needed, the dimensions, the software to work in, etc. So all of that information on a good brief should be listed out here. Below the fold here, we have information primarily to do with the cost of the project, so that is not pertinent to the design team. And once you have finished reviewing the brief and you have a good understanding of the task at hand, you're ready to get started. If you are the first design team member to be working on this project, then you would understand the brief and get to work working in whatever software is requested here in the brief. If you are coming back and working on a latter iteration of this project, say the project's already been delivered over to the client or to our internal team to provide feedback, and you're receiving a task to make some changes to the initial design, you'll come here into this preview page, which is also a good habit to get into checking the preview page at the start of any task, even if it is the very first time that you as a design team member are working on this project. You may come and find that the preview page is blank and looks like this. In that case, no files have been uploaded yet. There's nothing to see in the preview page. You will upload your files once you've completed the work at hand. But it's great to check here because from time to time on a first iteration, the DD or project manager or client themselves might upload a preview of whatever it is that, the content that you'll be working on, and they might leave pins with additional information here in the preview page. So it's always good habit just to double check the preview tab before getting started. And then if you are indeed working on revisions to a project, the project has been delivered once, we've gotten feedback, and it's time to make some changes, then you'll be here in the preview page reviewing the work and reviewing any of these pins that have been left either by our internal team or the client. We can see all of the pins are listed here on the right-hand side. Pins can be left by turning this view only into pinning mode, and then once I'm in pinning mode, I can click anywhere on the design preview and leave a pin. I have a rich text editor here for leaving my pin. I can upload new files to the pin. I can draw an arrow or a box around anything with these pins if I need to specify specific areas of the design. All pins have three different states. The open state in pink means that this pin is still needs work, that we have not completed the task at hand in this pin. Once that task is completed, that change has been made, it can be marked as done. If it is unclear to you as the designer and you're not sure what to do, you can mark it as a question and alert your project manager or design director that you're unsure of this. And then we can see, again, all of our pins listed out here on the right-hand side. We can open up and expand this pin index, which will let us read through all pins at a glance. If we have lots of pins, there is a filter and a search here, so you can kind of find what you're looking for more easily. As you're making revisions to a round of work, you'll scroll through the preview, you'll check out all the pins, you'll complete work on all those pins, mark them as done, and then it's time to upload your new work. When it's time to upload files, you'll come to the Files tab of the project, right next to the preview. And when you come into that Files tab, you'll see that there are four tabs within that tab. Right across the top here, we have files from the agency team. That's files that have been uploaded by our team that are going to get delivered over to the client. We have a tab for files from the client. Those are going to be any files that the client shared in the brief. We have files that have been attached to the chat or pins within the project. And then we also have any archived files. All files in any project are always going to be able to be rescued. They're never lost. If anything is ever removed or deleted, it is actually just archived and comes here to this archive tab where you can always get it back. But let's come back to the From Agency team. This is where you'll be dealing with uploading your files. I'm going to come into another project. This is a project that has not yet been delivered over to the client. No files have been uploaded from the agency team yet. So if you are the first design team member to work on this project, this is what the tab will look like when it's time for you to upload your first round of files. I'm going to link out to another video that walks through our file management in great detail, but in a nutshell, when you're ready to upload your files on a project, you can either use the Add a New Group or Add a New File button. If you add a new file, you can drag and drop or just select a file here. I'll use a picture of me, why not? And once that file is uploaded, we can see that it has been put into a group. So all files need to live within a group, and if you use that Add a New File, it will automatically create a group and put that file in it. You can rename the group, you can download all files within that group, you can add a link to another project into that group, you can add an external link, to Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever, and you can also send this group as a delivery. As a creative contractor team member, you won't need to worry much about sending as delivery. That's more for our quality control team members, project managers, and design directors. But say I'd like to rename this as, main image files. I can save that new name. I can add additional files by clicking on the plus sign. Let me grab some screenshots here. Adding more files to that same group. I can also create a new group. Let's call them we'll call this group main working files, create the group, and then I can use this plus button to add in our files. Again, in this modal, we can also add, that popped away really quickly, but in that same modal, you can link to other links, URLs, Dropbox, Google Drive, etc. Now that we have more than one grouping of files, I can actually hover over these and tick the box to the left. And when I do so, this selected files drop down will pop up here in purple. I can select files across multiple different groupings and still use this selected files button. I can download those selected files, archive those selected files, and again, there's the option to send as a delivery as well. When I hover over a file row, I can click on that row and it's going to open up a side panel that's going to show me the version history of that file. In this case, we've just uploaded these files, so there's no real version history to see. But when we look at the other project, we'll compare and we'll see many different file versions here. We can also upload a new version directly from this side panel or download the latest file. Hovering over that file row, I've got this 3-dot button here, which allows me to move that file to a new grouping. I can move it over into that main working files group, this one here, or I can create a brand new group and move this file into that new grouping. I can also rename the file, download it, upload the new version. Again, you can upload that new version here and download the file as well. This preview column is very important. Whatever is turned on here is what the client and our team is going to see in the preview tab of the project. So any files that we want to deliver over to the client, we want them to review them, we want them to be able to see them in that preview tab, we're going to need to make sure that we turn those previews on. We can also see that there are no pins left on these files. That's because this hasn't been delivered yet. Nobody has reviewed it and left any pins. We can see who it's been uploaded by, and then as we start to deliver iterations of this project, we'll see which files were on the latest delivery, and I'll show you in the other project what that looks like as we get through multiple deliveries. So this is what it's going to look like when you're uploading files for the very first time on a project. Once you've done so and you've completed uploading the work that you've done, you would then come into your task panel and complete the task. But before I show you that, I want to show you what it's going to look like when you're uploading a new round of files. So we're back at that logo project that we had reviewed the preview on. Just the preview, I might not wait for it to load. As you remember, this project here with the pins, and then we have gone through the work, we've completed the work needed on the pins, we've made all the changes requested, and now it's time for us to upload our new version of those files. So that we can keep track of our version history, here, for instance, on this PDF file, if I click on the row and open the sidebar, I can see all of the previous versions of this file. This is incredibly important for keeping track of previous files. We can come back in and download all previous versions of a file. So if we need to revert back to a previous version, we have that version of the file here still available to us. We can also see which files were delivered over to the client. So anyone with the yellow client tab are files that were delivered over to the client. The blue latest client is the latest file that the client has seen. And then latest internal is what we are currently working on. We can see the pins that are on each of those versions. We can also click on these pins, and it's going to take us back into the preview, and it's going to take us to that version of the file so that we can review what changes were requested like on that iteration of the file. We can see again here across the top that this is an alert letting us know that there is a newer version of this file, and we can go to that latest version by clicking there. Okay, coming back to our files, actually, excuse me, let me come back into that preview tab again. We can see the same file version up here in the 3-dot menu, in the 3-dot button on this tab of this preview file. We can open up file versions and see that exact same file versioning from here. So as you're working on rounds of design changes where you need to review the design preview and review the different pins on it, you're able to come in and review that design history, look back at past iterations and the pins left on those right here from the design preview as well as from the files tab. So you can see all of this same file versioning information in both locations. Likewise, you can download the files, etc. Okay, now coming back into the Files tab. Now that I've made all of those changes, it's time for me to upload my revised files. And I'm going to make sure to use the new version, upload a new version button for each of those. I'm going to upload a new version of my working files, in this case, my Adobe Illustrator files. I'm going to upload a new version of the PDF. The PDF is what we're using as the preview, so I'm making sure that that preview is turned on here. And once I have uploaded the new versions, then it's ready to go. It's ready to move on to the next phase of the project, which in this case, it's time for me to complete the task. We can see I've been working on this task for about 45 minutes. The timer correlates to the time worked down here. If that time does not correlate correctly, say you took a pause and you forgot to hit pause on the timer, or you took a pause and you forgot to turn the timer back on, you can indeed manually enter in your time here, and you can clock whatever time is needed. Any time clocked here is going to go into your work history, and you will be paid for the time clocked on any given task. Once you have finished entering your time, you'll hit mark as done, and it's going to send it on to the next task in the project. In this case, it's going to head on over to Creative Review for our DD to provide feedback on the work that I have uploaded. So that is how, as a design team member, you will receive a task in the platform. You'll go through all of the ins and outs of understanding your task, doing the work at hand, uploading your new files, and then submitting your task. Thanks.